Okay, they got the flat surfaces, and then, well, this is the worst Lamb of God song. Put it on here on the clip. This one is difficult. I'm glad I'm not removing it. Oh, no, it's not that bad. And you separate, and you pull straight up. This hub will come off. It meant to be pressed on there. It's pressed on there. You have to get like a big bearing separator. I'll show you. Harbor Freight. Put that down on the bottom of it. You either press it off or hit the bearing separator with a hammer, or I have a whole proto tool set up that utilizes the levers to pull that off. I don't remember. It's probably pressed on. Once that's there, though, everything comes right off. The bearing, the first gear will come right off. So that's that. Where's that input shaft? I believe I wanted to look at that thing for wear. This is the final key. I think we decided that we were alright on the dog teeth. Well, you know what? This is set up differently. It's been a while. Alright. Thank you again for watching. And it's probably going to be a few days till I come back. And because the new synchros are on order right now. Don't forget to subscribe. Okay, I wanted to show you how to check to see if your output shaft is warped, bent, I should say. And basically, you're going to set it up like you see between two V-blocks, and you put your caliper, valve caliper on the bearing surface, and you simply spin it. I'm going to try it on two different bearing surfaces. Now, this one's kind of getting old. These Harbor Freight ones are pretty cheap, but you watch that needle right there for movement. If your shaft is warped, that needle's going to move. A little bit is normal. This one has virtually none. Nope, like 1 or 2 thousandths, which is perfectly fine. What I'll do is I'll check it in a couple different points. I'll check it in the back also. That's where it's going to see a lot of torque. If it's bent, I think a machine shop who knows what they're doing can straighten it. So this one seems okay, which is not good for my friend because that's what he was really thinking his problem was. It's good for cost-wise though. I still think his problem is his clutch. He did mention that's the last thing he hasn't replaced, and I'm pretty sure that is his source of vibration. That's the only thing left. But this unit will be nice and upgraded when we're done with it. Thanks again. Alright, I'm back. I'm recording this on a Cisco flip camera. About 10 years ago or so, before cell phone video got more prominent. So I think the quality should still be decent. Anyway, parts are in. Wanted to show you again the wear on this, and I'm not quite sure I'm going to have the focus ability that I did on my brother's camcorder that I was borrowing. But nonetheless, let's see how the dog teeth worn. I wanted to show you some of the new parts that come in. You can see how nice and sharp those dog teeth are there. Second gear. Here's a new third gear. So, perfect. And we got the sliders too. Second slider. The teeth were worn pretty badly on the slider, to the point where you've got it all apart. If you want to really take the chance, you can see how worn that is. They don't come up as high on the edge here. The peaks are real worn. So this one's nice and perfect. But anyway, while it's all apart, if something's worn, replace it. So here we got a new carbon fiber synchro set. 2, 3, and 4 are all carbon fiber. You see right there, carbon fiber in the inside. Anyway, very nice. And then fifth and reverse are not lined with carbon. See, that's what they all looked like before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now you've got these nice carbon fiber lining, so you should get some real nice, clean, smooth shifts off this thing. Okay. Since the customer ordered all new synchros, including first gear synchro, this has to come apart. So, as I mentioned previously, I pulled this clip apart right here. It was real easy with these deals. Everything just comes right off. It's not pressed on. So, we'll go ahead and slide this off. And I'm doing this one-handed. I might have to lift out the tripod again. Okay. Stick with me. We'll go ahead and put that aside. I don't know if you can see that. And generally the little pointed part, see how it's pointed towards the top, that goes up when you're putting the clips down. Okay, we're going to set this aside in case there's an up and a down, which there is. Not. No, there is. Make sure you remember what side goes down. The old synchro. Here's the gear. And we're going to go ahead and put on the new synchro. I like to lubricate it a little bit with some fluid. I'm using ATF, but just enough to get it wet. Generally, you're going to use, I believe GM calls for synchro mesh. Actually, they may have spec'd out ATF on some of these, but most people use synchro mesh, including the Pennzoil stuff too. The GM stuff tends to get really expensive. I'm just lightly coating the inside of this so nothing gets assembled dry. And then I'm going to put this back on, just like so. Fifth and reverse synchros are the same. So then I'm going to put that back on. Before you put it on, make sure your clip is on the bottom. This thing right here. Okay? Because you can't put it on once it's on. Then it's too late. I'm going to get the tripod in a minute so this isn't shaky for you guys. Okay, it goes on, yeah, just like so. So I'm going to set this up on a tripod and I'll be back. Okay, I've got my synchro up top. Second gear is going to go in next. I'm going to go ahead and lubricate the surface here that the bearing that the synchro rides on. That just goes in there. Okay, now I'm going to reference my pictures and I'll be back. Give an important point here. This is the bearing and the flat race was on the bottom. Now, when assembling this, okay, do not forget that the upper part of the bearing race fits inside there like so. Okay, new carbon fiber synchro goes in so that the tabs line up with the keys. Okay, it's only going to go in one way. See? Okay. Now this will go down. Okay, and that completes at this point the shaft assembly. And what I'm going to do next is insert the shaft back into the case and begin to build fifth gear back up. Alright, thank you. Now I'm annoyed. This junky little flip doesn't work. What could I expect? I was hoping for something easy and cheap to record video, so here I am on my camcorder. And of course, if you can tell by how many takes that this has had, I put it all together and forgot the magical synchro that goes on there. Don't do that. So put the synchro on first. Alright, now this is the easiest way to do it. Okay, let's see if I can watch and do this at the same time. Shh. Be very, very quiet. Switch hands. No, it's jamming. Ah! I got one to fix. I'll be back. Here's yet another attempt, and I just wanted to show you, you know, this is life. This is how it works out. So this is real life attempts, and it's either gonna go or not go, you know. That time it went. That's what she looks like. All right, synchro. Make sure that synchro's lined up with the tabs. Okay, now it did. It's seated. All right, what a pain in the ass. All right, there she is. Now I gotta look for my fork, where the heck that might be. So I'm gonna grab the clutch fork, and we're gonna go ahead and reinstall fifth gear, and then really we're kind of home free. So I wanted to also mention that I've got these, I don't know, brass or copper, whatever the heck they're made out of. They're the shift fork tabs. They replaced those crappy plastic ones there. Very good upgrade for this transmission. Going to attempt this one-handed. This thing is very heavy. So, see what happens. Okay, you want to put the tail shaft in the hole. Alright. Let it hang a little over the bench. Shit. Not critical. Okay. You can actually remove these anyhow. Put them in after the fact so that doesn't happen. There it is. Now you can put these back in. Bearing race first, small one. Okay. Bearing race. Okay, remember this goes down like that. Okay. So much fun. You get the idea. I'm not going to waste your time fiddling with that. I'll do that off camera. On the back here goes your large bearing race. Okay. That just pushes in. Good enough. Okay, now remember that you put this back washer on already, and you want to go ahead and assemble the fork. Here's what it looks like with the new tabs on. I had to tap them lightly in place. Here's what the old plastic one looks like. These plastic ones are the only ones that are in good shape, so I'll go ahead and hang on to those for a rainy day. Little happy face goes like that. So the trick is to drop everything first. What you want to do, install all of that so that it fits over the shaft and the hole at the same time. So I'm going to slide this on just like that, and I'll do that off camera because I can't do it hold it at the same time. Alright, back. That was actually easy. Everything slid on real simple. Then I took a small screwdriver, looked down in the hole, just wiggle things until I had a big enough hole to get that over the shaft, in the shaft. Okay, may as well put on this little bearing at this time. That just presses back on. Right. But once again, one-handed. Whatever. Grab yourself a pin. Okay. What I like to do to make sure that the holes stay lined up is I'll put this through the bottom like so, and then start it up top. Okay, you need to get yourself that hammer and start pounding it all the way in. Then just pop those off with the flathead screwdriver and put your new shiny gold ones on. Then when I come back, we're gonna reinstall the input shaft on the front of it, and I'll show you how to put those bearings in. So we're most of the way through with this. A few more pointers. These that came off before, unfortunately cannot go in after the fact because the cluster shaft down there blocks it. You see how it's nice and snug up against there? So unfortunately I had to take this entire assembly out, the fifth assembly, and take the whole thing out and pull the whole shaft out of the transmission. Now remember that washer I showed you right behind fifth gear? This time I stuck a screwdriver in right behind fifth gear and pulled the washer out with fifth gear and this whole assembly at the same time, and this time all those needle bearings did not fall out, so I was very happy. All right, and that just pushed on like I said before, and then I put a punch in it, a pin in it, and just tap that in. Now I already put these in, but it's the exact same theory as what you did for those fifth needle bearings down there. Just coat the inside with grease, and those wheel bearings, those bearings will slide right in. Now, with any luck, this will go right in. And it did. Okay, now I'll clean the surface later. I use a wire wheel and a brush, metal brush, Harbor Freight, Home Depot, wherever you want. That cleans up aluminum surfaces, steel surfaces from all the gaskets, just like magic. And it will not hurt aluminum. I've done this a million times. So that'll go in. I believe that opening is a lubrication opening. I believe it goes right towards the top. All right, so that's in. I'll secure that with a couple bolts, and at this point in time I can locate my tail shaft wherever I put that, down on the ground, no doubt. And I'll go ahead and install the lid and tail shaft. So, and make sure my shimming is tight, and we're done. Piece of cake, right? Good deal. All right, here we are once again. Gasket surfaces have been cleaned up. Okay, just use this on everything, and then use some just carburetor cleaner, a rag, to get it cleaner. And basically, here's the tail housing. This is for the cluster shaft, and there's shims underneath that. I am not messing with this. I didn't replace any bearings. Nothing's going to be changed. It should be pretty tight. Okay, when you're putting it back together, it must be in the neutral position. Okay, that's with the sliders in the middle, like you see here, in both spots. The lid must be in the same position. You'll know if it's not, it won't fit. So what you want to do is place the lid on first, like so. I haven't put the new pieces on yet. That tab's going to fit down there like that. And once again, I cannot do this with only one hand. Okay, and that's going to fit down on there, and then you can put the bell housing on. I use generic RTV from Harbor Freight. It's only $2.99 for a tube of it. I've used it on many transmissions, and it works absolutely fine. Does not leak, holds up just fine. So when I come back, I'll have that lid and tail on. I said I'm just gonna bolt the lid on, then bolt the tail on. That should be it. If there's anything special that I encountered, I will inform you of it when I'm back. Just wanted to show you the position this lid goes in. This middle fork actually gets slid in just a hair. more than the others. And I haven't RTV'd anything yet. Wanted to show you the brass forks. It was kind of a press fit, not exactly a press, but I just grabbed a hammer, lightly tapped them in. You know, should go in nice and neat. See, and there's a little tab in there, you know, for it to fit in. So here we have it. I'm mid-process of putting the rest of the case on. Top bolt on either side. Put some RTV on the bolt because it goes into the case so it doesn't leak. Same thing with the input shaft bolts. Well, I'll put some RTV on those. Went on pretty much straightforward. There weren't really too many tricks to it. The only thing was that the bearing race in the bottom that I showed you earlier was popped out a little bit. So it was not allowing the case to go on that last 1/4 of an inch. So I pulled the tail shaft back off, and then I lightly tapped or pushed the bearing race in flat. Once I did that, it seated no problem. There's a dowel pin right about right here that you have to make sure is lined up. At first it won't go on. Come over to this side and look at your dowel pin, push the tail in enough to line it up, then it should all go in. And that's the most of it. The next part I'm going to do is slide these things on, and I'll try to come back, and I think I might be able to accomplish that one-handed up here while I talk with you on the video. As for torque, you can look up the torque in the book, but I don't use that because I've done a lot of transmissions, and you get a feel. For the case bolts, you can put those on just about as tight as you can get it with a ratchet. Now, if you're too strong or too little, then look up torque specs, but these go on pretty snug. Now, the top one's not as snug, but you can put these on still pretty snug. Just use judgment. I've never had one leak. And I'll be back when I come to do those. As for play, shouldn't be any because I didn't replace any bearings, and there isn't any. Always whack. Use a big sledge. This one's too big. I got a smaller one. On here and here, back and forth, just to seat it. I'll show you with this one, so you know, don't go too ape with it. And then come around to this side, of course. Do that 3 or 4 times, and then you want to shift through the gears. That way, it seats everything inside. Okay, and then you know if you have any in and out play. This unit is really tight, so this is good. I won't have to re-shim it. If you do have to re-shim it, the shims are under here, and what you do is you take your micrometer setup, magnetic base, but I find this clamp-on one works better, and you simply clamp it on like so, and then, put it on the tail shaft like that, right? Of course, turn this around so you can read it, but you get the idea. And then you move the shaft manually inside and out of the trans, and you watch the needle. And then that's basically how much play you have, and you can shim accordingly. So I've got to go. I've got to get some RTV out of my flip-flops. Thank you. These are straightforward. These go on next to the shifter rail. Middle goes down like that, okay? And then these 2 tabs with the springs face in towards each other. Okay. So, and they'll slip on nice and easy. Get that out of the way. See? Just like that. And then, next one. Okay, straighten that out. You have to wiggle it in a little bit. Wiggle it just a little bit. Okay, you might have to push down. Once again, I'm having some one-handed difficulties. Okay, get that in the middle. Okay, it's almost there. With 2 hands, it'll go on real easy. And then get the final one. Okay, just like that. Or not. Sorry about the camera angles. There it is. Okay. Okay, just like so. Right, and then this goes. Okay. Once again, I apologize for my superb camera angles. However, we got it. Okay. A little bit of playing with it, real easy, and then, you know, line up the holes. Okay. That one looks lined up. Okay, that's lined up. You can run your punch through the holes wherever mine is. The wrong one, but you get your idea. Run it through each hole to line it up. Once it's lined up, you've got your 3 pins that you did not lose before, hopefully. 1, 2, 3. The longest pin goes in the center unit. Okay. Longest one goes in there. Okay, then when you're done with that, put your plates back on. Now, wait to do that. When you're done with that, go ahead and throw your shifter on. And you want to bench shift it. Most important step when you're done, make sure it goes through all 5 gears in reverse. When it does go through all 5 gears in reverse, put this plate on, and as long as you're not shimming anything, pull that back off, RTV that, you're done. I'm going to attempt to do a one-handed demonstration of how this thing shifts. I wanted to mention while I was driving these in, I dropped that into the case, and that was a lot of fun. Luckily, I was able to take the transmission and just turn it upside down and shake the thing, and the pin came out, and I didn't have to pull the whole tail shaft off. So this is going to be quite a bit tricky. Okay, I'm going to show you how this thing shifts. There's first gear. Second gear, okay. Third gear, fourth gear, okay, fifth gear, reverse, okay, nice, huh? That's reverse. Okay. Again, fifth gear, reverse, third, fourth, first, second. They all work great. Everything spins, feels real nice. This transmission's going to be a beast. Wish it was mine. Okay. I'm going to call this video done. All I'm going to do now, you know, put these, I'm just going to bolt these lids on, silicone the input shaft. That's it. You've got your rebuild. So, any questions, shoot me a message. These things are very easy. Definitely not complicated. Just about on the same difficulty levels as T5, which is very simple. Thanks for watching.